Hey, welcome everybody. This is Mark Dannenberg, and today is Wednesday, May 5th, 2021. We are here for the Q&A session. I have with me this evening Aaron Rumley, Michael Kastner, and Kristen Kane. So we're going to go ahead and get to it so that we can get on to questions here very shortly. So if you're brand new to this Q&A, you're brand new to our community of traders, we are all about teaching how to properly trade options and how to properly trade futures. Our mantra is learn to trade and then trade to earn. We strongly encourage everybody to look at their trading as though you were starting your own personal small business, and there are things you need to learn before you open your doors, before you are able to actually confidently generate income from your business. So the learn to trade is all about going through a learning process, committing yourself to really understanding, going through some testing of your knowledge and understanding by trading in a simulation mode on options trading. That's generally a paper trading account, or in futures trading, that's generally a simulation account. So learn to trade and then trade to earn. If you invest the time, the proper amount of time to learn to trade first, then your trading to earn is going to be much more likely to be successful than if you just decide to jump into it quickly, try a few things, and then make excuses for yourself that it didn't work out or this doesn't work because you really didn't commit the time to learn first. We're here to talk about the adaptive entry system by New Cycle Trading and Analytics. That's what we use every day for identifying trends. We're also here to talk about the live trading room, what we support, how we support that. Aaron and Michael are in the live trading room every day, and they're there really for a real-time education, providing a real-time opportunity for you to learn during market hours. Opens at 8:45 a.m. Eastern, and it is generally open until sometime between 3 and 4 p.m. Eastern. Futures trading education, we have a whole curriculum for really learning how to properly trade futures, especially focusing on the risk and reward of futures. And that's very tied to the adaptive entry system. We are trading futures on a 5-minute NASDAQ 100 futures chart every day in the live trading room, not because that's the only index that the adaptive entry system works on, but it's because it gives us plenty of opportunity on a 5-minute chart to talk about the signals, to talk about the transition from one signal to the next, why you should take this signal, why you shouldn't take that signal, how to get in, how to get out. And it's a real good real-time learning experience for people in the live trading room. Personal trading plan is for tracking your personal performance. Profit performance, we're going to go through that in just a minute. And then our Profit Builder Plus program for options education. All of this is in the category of stuff that we're happy to answer questions about, we're happy to discuss. There can be other questions too from topics outside of what we really do or support. We'll do our best to try to respond, but if you want to ask me about, which crypto coin you ought to be buying, or you ask me about when the right time to buy a particular stock is, those really are not in the arena of questions that we respond to, although I can pull up a chart, I can evaluate, a stock and give you my opinion based on a very simple view. But mostly we're here to support any questions that you have around the topics that I just went through. And I also just want to give you a heads up with no particular time frame committed yet, but what we are working on here. We're always supporting you in real-time trading, but we're always doing additional trading, testing, and development of systems and signals that will help expand your opportunity for profit production. And the things that we're working on right now, and again, I make no time frame commitment to this, but there are things that we're actively working on with the intention of hopefully at some point offering you an opportunity to participate, is a trade alert program for options trading, for intraday options trades. For a long time now, at the beginning of the live trading room, we've talked about daily crosses off of a daily chart. That's one aspect of our systems trading, but we've been working recently on really digging into intraday options trades, and there's a strategy that I'm particularly leaning towards that we've created that is actually built off of the platform of AES. So it doesn't completely replace AES. It's just an offshoot of AES that is particularly good at identifying intraday options trade trends. And on the stocks that I've been looking at, it can typically be between 1 to 3 trades a day. That's kind of on an average, and the opportunity is pretty significant. So that's something that we're working on. I'm kind of excited about that. We have, for those of you who might be new to our community, we have a smartphone app that we have not used for a while now since our last alert service, but we would probably employ that to send out alerts for trades that we believe are a good opportunity for you. And then the other thing is auto trading, which we've talked about for a while. This is taking some time to develop because we're going to do it right, but this is geared towards futures trading, which could allow us to trade any market around the clock, 23 hours a day. Futures markets are open. And also, which is the feature I like the most, it also allows you to trade multiple markets. If you have a particular set of signals, like the adaptive entry system, and you want to trade, let's say, NASDAQ 100, you want to trade Russell 2000, you want to trade gold, you want to trade silver, you want to trade copper, you want to trade oil. If you wanted to trade all of those at one time, you can open up a DOM for each of those, and what we refer to affectionately as CycleBot will sniff out all the signals at the appropriate time for those whatever contracts you're trading, and it will trade them all automatically. Now, we have a few things that we need to work on with that. We've been doing some preliminary testing. We've done minimal testing of live dollars on it so far, but we're doing extensive testing on it in sim mode. And like I said, with any new program development, there are always things that we're going to need to tweak and adjust and fix and work out the bugs and the kinks. But pretty excited about the progress that we're making on that. And kudos to Craig at New Cycle Trading and Analytics for really taking the lead and making this happen for us. So everybody on the team has been participating in that and participating in the testing, and Kristen in particular has been kind of nose deep in monitoring auto trading activity during the day and working actively with Craig. So anyway, no time frames committed. Just want to emphasize that again, but I want to let you know that those are two very, very exciting things. They're exciting to me that we are in the process of working towards, and hopefully in the not too distant future, you'll hear more about that and how you could choose to participate if you want to. All right, so it's really important that we update our personal trading plan. I went one slide too far, so I'm just going to jump to the personal trading plan. So for the benefit of those of you who might be brand new, the personal trading plan is a way that you can track your performance on a daily basis. You plug your performance into a personal trading plan, which is what you see in front of you. And the personal trading plan does a couple of things for you. It calculates for you what your average run rate is. So run rate is if you take all of your profits and all of your losses, what's been the average of your winning days and what's been the average of your losing days. We are very transparent here. We're very realistic. We understand that we're going to have wins. We also understand we're going to have losses. But what matters to me most is what's the big picture. If I was to take my combination of winning days and my combination of losing days, and I net all that together and I establish a run rate, and then I project forward that same run rate, assuming that from this day forward for 52 weeks, if I can replicate the same run rate that I've experienced so far, what would my annual income be? Remember, this is a business for you, whether you see it as a business or not. It is a business for you, and you should treat it like a business. You need to learn how to manage your business properly. You need to have the support that you need to manage your business properly. You need to have the tools to manage your business properly. And you want to see what the benefits of running your business are going to be and how much time you're going to commit to your trading, and what strategies you're going to use, what signals you're going to use off of the systems that we've offered to you. And by using the personal trading plan, you get to see, well, what's your 12-month projected income? Okay, that's not a guarantee, especially when you're early on in your 52 weeks, but it is giving you an idea of what your income could be. So first of all of this performance data comes from this really awesome tool that Aaron created here. And we show on a daily basis, the details of every single trade. We track the details, what time the trade was open, whether it was a long or short. This is all on the NASDAQ 100 futures on a 5-minute chart. What the strategy within the adaptive entry system set of signals was, whether we won or lost, meaning we made a profit or we lost on that trade. We look at it in terms of points. We also measure the drawdown. So we are in a trade, it doesn't necessarily move in our favor immediately. This one happened to, no drawdown. But you have other trades where we end up taking a profit, but in this case, as an example, it moved 9.25 points against us before we were able to end up taking a profit. So we track all that data. This is invaluable because we then are able to summarize it on a daily summary, and we have a tremendous amount of history in here now. And the more history we have, the easier it is for us to be able to guide you in understanding what to expect from trading a particular time frame or trading a particular set of signals, so that you can decide when you want to work and how you want to work your particular business. So there are 3 different categories, combinations of signals and time frames that we take into account and that we then track on our personal trading plan. One of them is trading from 9:30 to noon, so that's market open Eastern time till 12 noon, and taking all of the adaptive entry system signal trades. That's 4 signals. The second category is starting at 7 a.m. and actually trading until market close and only focusing on the trends. So it's the trend bias signal and the trend continuation signal. And then the third category, which we just added this year at the beginning of 2021, is trading from 8:45 to 4, or it really is between 3 to 4 whenever we close the live trading room. We open at 8:45. So this is all of the adaptive entry system signals plus fractals. This essentially reflects exactly what we are doing every day in the live trading room and the signals we are calling out to our community of traders. So I'm just going to scroll down here, and today the 9:30 to noon didn't perform very well. It was down 42.25 points. The 7 to 4 was up 7.25 points, and the 8:45 to 4 was up 50 points. Now, one other really interesting feature of this tracking tool is we also calculate what the maximum drawdown or the maximum profit was in this last category. So we can change this category to reflect whatever time frame we want and whatever set of signals. And we can see that today, at one point today, this category was showing a 36-point loss, but the maximum was 50 points of profit, and we ended up finishing at 50 points of profit. So we have all that data. I mean, it's invaluable data for us to be able to not only differentiate a good system, good trading market metrics system from a weak system. It also helps us guide you, especially if you're brand new, to what to expect from your particular trading. So I'm going to jump back to the personal trading plan. We take that performance data and we plug it in at the end of the day into our personal trading plan here. We plug in what the profit or loss was on a dollar value basis. Each point that we win or lose on the NASDAQ 100 futures is worth $20, equivalent to $20 per contract. And in this case, we had 36 contracts. All right, so we are now 43.5 weeks into a 52-week plan. We're coming down to our last 8 weeks of our 52-week plan. We started in July of 2020. During that 43.5 weeks, we've had 76 losing days. And we are averaging on our winning days 21.63 points a day, and on our losing days, 43.55. Now we have far fewer losing days than we have winning days, and so the dynamics of the win-loss ratio work very well for us here, even though the average point value on winning days is less than the average point value on losing days. So that's our run rate. The area shaded in blue is our history. Those numbers and values won't change. They're already, logged in. Nothing's going to change those values. That's all history now. It's the go forward. It's the balance of our 52-week plan, the next 8.5 weeks, that we really are most interested in. And so what we do is we very simply take those run rate values and we record them in these two fields, where these two fields are going to drive what the forecast is. The forecast for the remaining 8.5 weeks, or if we were only 10 weeks into a plan, it would be the forecast for the remaining 42 weeks. So the blue shaded area is our history. Everything below that is what is still yet to come. And we are estimating what is to come based on what our history has derived so far. So right now what we see is that based on these values, these run rate values, and the same values for our forecast, if we keep our maximum number of contracts to 3, that our 12-month income should be somewhere around 127,000, just a little over 127,000. That number in the next 8.5 weeks will likely change a little bit, but this far into a plan, as long as there's nothing dramatic that happens, we shouldn't expect to see that change too much. We should see that be fairly stable somewhere right around the 127,000 mark. I think that's an outstanding number right there, because this account started with $5,000. $5,000, we started with one contract per trade, and then we allow the personal trading plan to graduate us up to a maximum number of contracts that we choose. I could make the maximum number of contracts 50 if I wanted to. That'd be a little insane, but just to demonstrate an example, that would dramatically change our projected income. Nothing in our history would change, but going forward, starting tomorrow, we'd be trading 20 contracts and we'd be graduating up to 50 contracts here in another month and a half or so. And so we can dramatically influence the overall income by changing the number of contracts. We're going to leave ours at a maximum of 3. So the other two categories, the one that starts at 7 a.m. and goes until the end, until we're done trading for the day, is the same thing, 43.6 weeks. We've got 78 losing days in this category, a couple additional losing days in the other. But the winning day average is 25.69, and the losing day average is 43.48. So it's the same process here. We're recording those in our future forecast for the next 8.5 weeks. And our forecast, having started this account also with just $5,000, is showing an income that should be in the neighborhood of somewhere around $178,000. And then the last category, which I mentioned, we just started in January of 2021. We wanted a calendar year category, and we also wanted a category that corresponded exactly to what we do throughout the day in the live trading room, calling out each of the 4 adaptive entry system signals as well as fractals on top of that. So we're only 17.5 weeks into this category. We've had 28 losing days in this category. The average win is 37.8. The average loss is 63.86. We put those into our future forecast. We're still in this category maintaining a maximum contract growth of 3. Again, we can make it whatever we want. And presently, the forecast for 12 months is 251,000. Again, we just start with $5,000 when we are opening these accounts. How dramatically could we change that number? If I decided I wanted to grow up to 10 contracts, I'd immediately be at 10 now, not because I just put in 10, but because that value right here, the number of contracts that we're trading, is influenced by 2 things. It's influenced by my maximum number of contracts, and it's also influenced by this percentage value over here, which we have logged at 10%. We will only allow 10% of the balance of the account to be used for the margin requirement for futures contracts. Each contract requires a margin of $500 at Infinity Futures where we trade. So I can change that to 5%, I can change it to 50%. We like a conservative value of 10%. We're only using 10% of the balance of the account. So if I decided to make this 50 contracts, which once again I think would be insane, tomorrow we would be graduating up to 13 contracts because there's enough balance in the account to support the margin requirement 13 contracts. And it won't grow to 50 or anything higher than 13 until the balance of the account grows, and then it will steadily just tell us how many contracts we ought to be trading. I think 3 is a very realistic, very conservative number, especially when paired with a 10% of the balance of the account. I think that that's all a good combination of conservative factors. So right now, after the first 17 and a half weeks, 251,000 is the forecast, having started with $5,000. This value is more likely to change over time than the other two categories because we only have 8.5 weeks left in the other two categories, and they are greatly influenced by what we already have logged in as profits. So that's the value right there of the personal trading plan. On a daily basis, you have a reasonable estimate of what your income can be for a 12-month period. One last thing I want to say, and I talked about this briefly on the last Q&A. I get the question periodically about, I don't know how to do this because, I trade for a month and I take my profits out, and then the next couple of weeks I have some losses, and so then I'm down, and then I don't know what to do. Well, if you were going out today to start a brand new business, and maybe you had to open a storefront, you had to do some leasehold improvements, maybe you had to buy a fleet, you had to get inventory, you had to hire employees. You've got expenses and you've got time that it's going to that's going to require you to be patient before you actually have your first dollar of revenue. Well, trading is no different. In that business scenario, opening a storefront scenario, you're going to have some money set aside to live on while you're getting your business launched. So maybe it's a part-time business and you still have a full-time job, and you're going to put one foot in both fields until you can generate enough cash flow and enough profits from your business to support the income that you are hoping to give up. Trading is no different. An ideal way to trade is, first of all, learn to trade and then trade to earn, and have 12 months. 12 months is ideal. I'm saying 12 months of whatever you require as income set aside to live on. And that way you can go through a few months of trading, of learning, first of all, and then trading to build your account, where you're not trying to take money out on a weekly basis or a monthly basis. And then you run into that period where, well, here's a few more losses, and you're feeling a little stressed. Having that money set aside and living on that money for a year, and then just letting your account trade, letting yourself be comfortable to trade your account for a year. If at the end of a year you have 251,000, well, you've probably replaced your income. If at the end of a year you have 178,000, you just have to decide, whether or not that's sufficient. And let's just say you made $127,000. Whatever you need to live on, if that would cover it, you would take that out and you would put that aside to live on for the next 12 months, the second 12-month period, and you turn around and start trading your account all over again. And that is how you transition from a full-time income or something that you're trying to maybe get away from and move more strongly towards your trading being a full-time income. Okay, so just last part here. A lot of traders struggle with the emotional side of risk and losses, and what I just talked about is one of those emotional drivers. If you feel on edge, if you feel like you're pressured, I have to make a certain amount this week, I have to make a certain amount this month, you're going to feel some pressure. What I just described to you releases one of those emotional struggles that a lot of traders have. And the personal trading plan is going to help you see the big picture. It's going to help you understand when is enough, because in order to hit 127,000 or 251,000 of profit over a 12-month period, you're going to know what your positive day and negative day run rates are. That gives you an idea of when is enough enough? When should I just stop for the day, whether it's because you're having a winning day or a losing day? It helps guide you in that. It tells you what your potential 52-week income is, and our personal trading plan, as I just showed you, is ranging between 127,000 and 251,000. Depends on which strategy we're using and what time frame we're talking about. But we started with just $5,000 in each account, and as little as 2.5 hours a day, which is the 9:30 to noon category, is driving about 127,000. Now, I've mentioned this before, but I'm going to say it again because I think it's a really important statistic. According to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, the median household income in the U.S. is 78,500. That's a full-time income. That's a median household income. And we're talking about something that could earn possibly, no guarantees at all. Everybody has a different aptitude and skill sets and attention span and attentiveness to following rules. But potentially 2.5 hours a day can get you $127,000 a year, just simply based on what we've shown for the past 42 weeks. All right, so again, learn to trade, trade to earn. We're here to talk about futures trading education, options education, the adaptive entry system, live trading room, personal trading plan. We've built all these tools for you so that you can build a personal trading business. And if you want to learn more, you can go to optionsmoneymaker.com/investor